Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, my number 3 is certainly an everything for everyone type of game. It's FIFA 15 on Xbox One again. A lot of Xbox One. Just played a match on FIFA 15. The most obvious I think we played Barcelona versus Barcelona, keeping it real. The most obvious change, they've talked a lot this year about the emotions. It's all about the emotional side of the game. That basically amounts to cutscenes that are more dynamic as you play, I think, but you just skip them. So, as for the game, it's faster and more responsive than last year's game, noticeably so, straight away. And there's a really nice bunch of animations that weren't in last year's game, like how players will kind of dribble past their opponent and squeeze through gaps. And every year they talk about how it's more physical because they always improve on that, the physics engine every year. But it really did feel like you could sort of lean into your opponent while you're dribbling with the ball and use a lower centre of gravity when you're using someone like Messi or something like that. Yeah. And it played a fine game of football. We had fun, but it's still like FIFA 14, and this is based on one game, so bear that in mind. But like for FIFA 14, the match we played, it was a fun match, but the game just has no midfield. It's like basketball. It's just I attack, you attack, I attack, you attack. Defenders pass it straight to attackers. There's no build-up. And I know when you play against the AI and they defend a lot deeper, you do end up having a bit more of a natural build-up. But then the game still doesn't feel right when you're doing that because it's always like it just doesn't flow like football. And some people don't mind that or notice that or care or disagree, whatever. But it just... When football's a sport about amazing moments, and those amazing moments happen because of the times when they don't happen. That's what makes them amazing. You know, the times where the game does get bogged down for 20 minutes, and FIFA's just, even this new one, it had all that stuff. You know, it's constantly throwing action at you. A lot of people like that, and I do get that, but I'll always be someone that wants to enjoy the beauty of the game, and I know that people call it a beautiful game, it's a bit annoying, but when those moments come naturally and occasionally, rather than, you know, another curling shot from 20 yards towards the top corner again. And it really was a fun game. Like, I must reiterate, I don't want to sound too down on it because we had a lot of fun. The other guy that I played really, really enjoyed it. It was a fun match. Good stuff happened. Good little dribbling. The dribbling's way better, and some of the so-called emotional stuff was quite good. When we let it run out, it felt a bit more like what was happening on the pitch was a bit more real, and the players on the pitch felt like they're a bit more like they're actually part of a football match rather than just a bunch of kind of football robots, which I've always felt that the FIFA players kind of feel like.
So what happened in these cutscenes you're talking about? What happens in them?
So it's stuff like, you know, at the moment in FIFA where, say, you miss a chance and all the players kind of just sort of stand there on the spot and look into the distance and then you go back into the game. But here it's a bit more like Provo has been since 1996, or whenever the fucking first one came out, I think it was 96, where, like, you know, the second something happens, all the players on the pitch react to it in a way that you'd expect them to react to it if you were watching a real football match. So you miss a chance in the last minute and they'll drop to their knees and their hands go on their head and another player might be berating them or something like that. Hit a hard tackle and the guy might react. And it's cool stuff, but most of it's happening in skippable cutscenes. So straight away we were skipping it because that's what you do. One special shout out though, amazing thing that happened. I don't know why it happened. You know, sometimes when you're offside and it just cuts to a shot of the linesman just standing there looking blankly at nothing with his flag in the air. Does it? But it did that. It was just standing there exactly as normal. And at the very last second, he just raised the corner of his mouth and his tiny little smirk, like, what? And then it just cut like that. Fucking cracked up. I don't know what that was all about. I hope that happens every single time.
I've heard them talk about this emotion on the pitch thing, and that seems an incredibly peculiar thing to go after, especially seeing as the core game is quite fucked. Do you think it's better than the PS4, Xbox One versions of FIFA 14?
Yeah, almost definitely straight away.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, okay.
The through balls were still a bit too heavy, but the high through balls were nowhere near as successful as they are in FIFA 14. There was a lot more error on them. Like even with Messi, from 25 yards, 30 yards from goal, and say Pedro makes a good run, and you see the run, and you time the through ball. It wasn't always, one of them would run through to the keeper, one of them would be slightly off in the wrong direction, and one of them would work, rather than you can pick it up with any fucking retarded centre-back from anywhere in the world, and you can ping a flawless 90-yard pass onto the feet of your striker every time like they can in FIFA 14. That's been toned down, but it was still way too easy to get the ball to your strikers from your attackers within one pass and be launching a counter-attack. And, maybe some people find that fun, but I just don't think that's never what I've really enjoyed in football games. And there's been another football game that's not done that since, the fucking 90s, and I'll talk about that in a minute. My number 2 then is Pro Evolution Soccer 2015 on PlayStation 4, actually, this time. Yeah, a bit later in the day, we managed to find one of the many empty PES demo pods, unfortunately. And had a game on that, Italy versus... I was the Dutch, and the guy I was with was Italy. And I have to say, wow, it really is something else. The first time it's been on next gen, and it looks stunning. I mean, it really does look good. The player models, the famous players, look like outstandingly good. Some of them, like Iron Robin, just look like exactly like Iron Robin. They're Chiellini from Italy. Really, really high standard. And the most amazing thing about it is the animation. It's fucking incredible. Just the dribbling animation, the way even FIFA has this as well, where the shirts ruffle, but it just looks so much better in this new Pro Evo for some reason. And the physics of the way the ball works and the way you dribble it, it was way more responsive than PES 2014. And it just kind of, they've been talking a lot about going back to the Pro Evo glory days and all that stuff. I think, the last 2 Pro Evos have been really, really good. So, but I understand that's a good selling point for them and a good angle for them to attack. And it definitely does feel like that. It's taken away some of the more complicated stuff in the recent games. Like, none of the tricks are on the right stick anymore. It's all more about, like it used to be, just using a combination of running at the right time and angles with the left stick to dribble. And you can do step overs and stuff like that as well. But it's gone back to more about just actually analysing what's happening on the pitch and moving in the right direction at the right time, which is how football works. Passing was crisp. The player movement was fantastic. It doesn't have the L1 to make them run in the same way that FIFA does, although there is a way of doing it. But I was the Dutch, like I said, and I had the ball sort of in between, sort of halfway into the opposition's half. And Robin van Persie made like this darting run where he ran back from offside, darted towards the top of the pitch, then span back round and then made a run inside the defender, which you watch football and that's like a run that specific player makes. And then so I just dropped it over the top to him, and that felt completely organic, not like a through ball that just got in because the game decided it would. It was like this amazing run that he did that completely baffled my mate as he was trying to mark him. And put him through on goal, and I think he just ended up just missing his shot or something. But the whole thing just looked fucking fantastic, and I can't wait. The game's not out now till it's November, so they're giving FIFA an almost 2-month head start, which is risky, but it's good because it means hopefully the game's going to come out not fucked, which is massively, massively important. This is the one they've clearly. It feels almost like an all or nothing type of deal. It's like they need to claw back something with this one. It's very, very, very nice looking. First one on next gen. It doesn't feel like they've done what happened when the previous generation changed 8 years ago, whatever it was, and the first one on Xbox 360 was a bit of a mess, and the previous generation version was way better. This time they've really come strong. It's definitely looked like the decision to not rush ahead with the next gen version for last year was a good idea, and I cannot wait to play more of this because I thought it was outstandingly good. Like, exactly what I was hoping it would be, but looks even better and moves even better. I was seriously blown away by this.